What these tests show is that you have some kind of a malformed cell. I guess something showed up.
An abnormal cell, right?
An abnormal cell. So use IMMUNICS to make all your cells normal to eliminate the abnormal cells.
Yeah, you had a medical test and they found an abnormal cell, right?
Yeah, is that right?
Yes, yes.
So
that's basically
what
so
we're doing here is changing your cells to be normal.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea.
So yeah, I do have a question about all the bodies.
Good.
I was studying earlier.
Good.
Well, for a couple of days already. Because, I mean, is it possible when you're asking a question about the bodies and you're not quite sure or have the real grasp of what the body is?
And what about it?
Such as, you know, astral body or spiral body. Like, what's spiral body?
Well, let's put it this way. When you're asking a question, now I want you to relax, take a breath, sit back, and look, like pretend I'm the lens of your camera, because to me, you look like you're looking right at me. So I'm here with you, like we're having a conversation. That's how I feel about it.
How can I see you on the camera, though?
I know because I don't turn my camera on. It compromises the filming. It makes it can slow the connection down.
Right. Okay.
So people know what I look like anyway, because I sometimes come in and make a movie myself and just splice it onto the movie like here, so they see me and then they see you, so it looks like they see who I am.
Okay.
So you're saying that, okay, you're asking, well, suppose you don't know what a body is, how can you ask questions about it, basically, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Come back. All right. Like put away your papers and stuff. You don't have to refer to your notes. It's okay. We'll talk. And I want you to think of this as a computer. Like, let's say God gave you a computer.
Mm-hmm.
And so you click this little icon and this entire page comes up. Get the idea?
Yeah.
And you didn't know what was on the page before it appeared on the screen. And that's what God gave you. Like, the computer will factor in what you're asking.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like when I get signals, I get it responds a few seconds faster than I even speak out. It was already in my head, and I got a signal already before I even really finished talking to myself.
Yeah, because God knows what you're trying to say.
Yeah, okay.
And so do you. Even if you don't consciously know, and you're kind of making the question up as you go along, God knows what you're trying to say. And brings you to the, out.
Now, the God you're talking about are referring to the God within?
I'm referring to God, and, I think we should probably agree that God is unknowable. So it's like, you can't ask which God it is or something, because that's just not a knowable thing.
Okay.
Let me see if we can get Barb on here now. There she is. Turn on your camera, Barb.
I think it is on.
You sound okay.
Can you see me though?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so tell us about your pap smear.
Well, I mean, it's very initial stage. I just got called back from doctor and for the pap exam the first time I had, and she said it was just abnormal, but there's no. All of a sudden, I forgot the virus name. very, very common one. I was tested negative for that virus, but the cell just seems abnormal. So she sent me home, and she sent me a kit, and I have to do it and wait for another 2 months to get another exam. So last time, when we were, this past Monday, we're gathering Barr was like, let's talk about this, and this is what the meeting is about, finding out whether I have anything or not.
So the pap smear might indicate cancer, you mean?
Yeah, or a pre-cancer, or nothing.
A precancerous condition, okay. I get it. Barb, your camera lens is covered by something.
Oh.
Now it's not, okay. So you're okay. I want you to, both of you to hold up your hands so we can see what you're testing. Okay? And I want you both to test, and Barb, you're going to test for Lainey. Okay? So you're testing about her, and Lainey, you're testing about yourself. And you're
Barb on the video anymore. I think we lost her.
Oh, I can see her. I've got her right here.
Oh, okay.
She looks totally fine. So, I don't know why you don't have her.
Yeah, I don't know why either. Cannot see her hand signal.
I switched cameras on, that's it.
Well, that, you know, Skype is pretty strange, and we probably ought to just go ahead. I'm sorry about that. I see Barb perfectly.
Okay.
And I want, okay, so hold up your hands, and I have both of you, I have the camera on both of you, and Barb, use your other hand because it's easier to get it in the camera. And I want you to test, do I have cancer in any of my bodies? Lainey, you're testing, do I have cancer in any of my bodies? And Barb, you're testing for Lainey, do I have cancer, does Lainey have cancer in any of her bodies? Now, Lainey, you're young, so that's would be probably pretty strange if you had cancer. But you might have it because we bring it in from other lives. So the question is, do I have cancer in any of my bodies? Now, what are you getting? Are you getting a yes or a no, anything?
No signal.
No signal. Barb, what about you?
I got a yes signal on one body. I asked how many bodies.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we go through some of the bodies and you can both test and see if you find cancer in one of them. So we're going to test the emotional.
No.
Lainey, did you get a signal on the emotional?
Cancer in my body.
Barb,
It moved a little bit.
yeah? Okay, so just say I'm removing all cancer from my emotional body.
I'm removing all cancer from my emotional body. Yes.
Okay. All right, now, Lainey, sit back, relax, and let's just be here with you. Now, do you notice any difference when you got the signal, yes, you took it out? Do you notice any difference in yourself?
Well, the signal I get is very mild compared to the signal I usually get.
So it's very small.
Yeah,
Okay, and any feeling change?
not much.
Okay, let's move on. Do I have cancer in my gravitational body? And Barb, you're testing, does Lainey have cancer in her gravitational body?
I tested yes.
Okay, so now I'm removing all cancer from my gravitational body.
Okay. It's moving.
Okay. Do you feel any different?
A little bit calmer.
Okay. Now this is how we find out whether we've got something. So you were talking about like the doctor's test and waiting for the test to come back. And we don't wait for the test, we just do this.
Okay. Well, what I don't understand is, I'm testing for. I was a candidate. Well, this possibility I might have cervical cancer, but we were testing the body, gravitational body, and some other body that doesn't really have direct relations. It might be mentally. I don't know. How will you explain this?
Barb, what do you say? Explain it.
I tested that you had it in your gravitational, and sometimes that would be where it would, originally start. That could lead to manifesting your physical. I have a feeling that your pap test is going to come up negative. That doesn't mean that you ought to not check for cancer in these higher bodies, especially your gravitational, and keep them moving. And maybe it was just some kind of a message to be careful, to watch your subtle bodies and prevent it from getting into your actual physical, cervical area. Like I said, I have a feeling that when you do get your test, you'll probably show up negative, even though myself and my friend here and you both all tested yes on the gravitational body.
Lainey?
Yes.
Are you reading something?
No,
No.
I'm thinking.
Oh, you're thinking. Okay,
Yeah.
tell us what you're thinking.
Oh, well, actually, I'm listening to Barb and thinking at the same time. Just
All right.
kind of try to digest her words.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, what thoughts did you have about what Barb was saying?
I was trying to think my recent thoughts, everyday thoughts, that what might attract something.
Your what?
I'm curious to ask you something.
Yes.
Prior to getting this test or this questionable test at all, what is your relationship with cancer? Have you ever thought of it? Is it in your mind at all? Do you have friends or family?
Well, my father was diagnosed with prostate cancer 2 years ago, and he's now free. He's an amazing cancer survivor.
Okay.
Yeah. So my family has been pretty positive toward this whole process. It was very long, a lot of hard work, but he's now cancer free.
Okay. Test if you have it in your gravitational body now. No? Yeah. Okay, good. Test it would be good for you to check yourself daily, more often, like this. Yes?
I'm sorry, would you please say it again?
I was asking you to test whether it would be good for you to check your gravitational body a couple times a day.
Yeah, I would start doing that, but now we didn't go through all the body list on this.
No, we can go through more. You want to go test the rest of them?
Yeah, sure.
Would you like?
See,
test
before we go on, I want to go back to like what you're thinking. Tell us what you're thinking.
I understand our thinking attracts things around us, and I've been thinking my body was sick. Maybe I was wondering if I was sick the whole time since I was told my pap smear.
Well, you can test. Actually, Barb, go on mute for a minute. Right, because I think I'm getting some kind of a noise from you. Barb?
Yes?
Go on mute for a minute. Let's see if the sound is better. Go on, mute your microphone.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Tell me when you... Yeah, okay, you've done that. Yeah, you should mute yourself when you're not talking because there's a snow coming through when you're talking. Okay, so I'll go back to you, Lainey. Okay. You can test anything that you want. For example, test this question, is my body sick? Are you on mute, Lainey?
No.
Okay, okay, because your lips were moving, but I didn't hear you. So, okay, is my body sick?
Let me talk it out. Okay.
Yeah.
Is my body sick?
And see if you get a signal.
No.
Okay, so you can just test like that. It takes 1 second. You can test anytime you want, night or day. You can wake up in the middle of the night and start testing. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be just testing whatever pops into your mind whenever you want to. This is not a procedure. It's not a protocol. Going through all your bodies will not help you. The thing that will help you is actually curing the disease, if there is one. It's not a procedure. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hello? Oh dear. Oh well. Barb, come off mute. Can you hear me, Barb?
Yes.
Laney's connection crashed. Laney, do you understand now what this is all about? You're starting to get a picture of what you would look like doing this.
Yeah.
Go ahead and describe it to us.
But I want to. I'm a little weird. I want to understand all the bodies. Like, what's the difference between physical body versus physical body?
All right. Given what I've told you about doing this, how would you go about gaining an understanding of all the bodies? Barb, mute your microphone. Barb, can you hear me?
Yes.
Mute your microphone. Okay, thanks. All right, now how would you go about gaining an understanding of the bodies, given what I've told you?
Trust it.
Okay, hold up your hand. Let's test a question. Do some of the bodies control DNA?
Does some of the body controls DNA?
Do some of these bodies control DNA?
Does some of this body control DNA? Yes.
Okay, now test through the bodies that you remember and see if you get a signal on any of them. Say the names of them out loud. Just do the ones you remember. Don't look at your list or read anything. Just try to remember what you've already read.
The celestial body controls DNA.
And see if you get a signal, and if you got a yes on that. Okay, so now do you understand why you would check your celestial body for cancer? So it's becoming more easier to see it now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's an example. It's very easy to get the information. Also, have you noticed on the hub of the Web College, there's a skill called Use and Protection of the Bodies? Do the lessons in that skill, and that will accelerate your understanding.
Okay.
So, you know, you can just walk around asking questions, or you can do that and you can do the lessons and test what the lessons tell you to test, and that will make it go faster.
Okay.
I see you want to go fast. You like going fast, right?
Well, yes. But obviously, like auras or some other non-physical part of the body doesn't control DNA, right?
Well, test, does my aura control DNA?
But it doesn't make sense. Oh, yeah, it does. Never mind. OS.
Did you get a signal?
Does my aura controls DNA? Yes.
Okay, here's another thing to test. Does DNA control my aura?
Does DNA? Yes.
Yeah. And how would you? I think you already knew this when you started before you tested it. And see, so what testing does, one of the things it does is it simply makes you certain of something that you suspected.
Yeah.
And then you can move on to ask something else. Like you're not stuck with suspecting something but not knowing what to do with it.
Okay.
Do you know what I test? I test what to put in food.
Ah.
Like I test whether to put in turmeric or not. I test all kinds of things. Like I used to walk through the park and test mushrooms and eat them. And I don't know anything about mushrooms. And some of the mushrooms I walked up to were deadly poison. And I tested not to eat them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. And you know, I used to take them to my favorite Japanese restaurant in Collingswood, New Jersey. And sometimes they'd make them for me, or I would just give them the mushrooms. And one time I came in with a bag of brown mushrooms. I probably had like 10 pounds of brown mushrooms. And I gave them, and they said, well, we don't know what these are. And I said, well, you know, I didn't want them. So I said, you can have them, you know. And you know, there was a guy walking behind me. I was sitting at the sushi bar. And this guy was walking behind me. He was French, and he looked at them, and he said, oh, those are honey mushrooms. They're really good.
Wow.
It's like synchronicity. What do you know about the law of attraction?
I love it.
Yeah. Well, if you're not sick, spiritually, you attract whatever you want. The law of attraction kicks in, and that was the law of attraction. This guy saying the mushrooms were good, and they took them back in the kitchen and made them, and I had some, and everybody had some, and we all enjoyed them. You know, we gave them to the staff dinner after the restaurant closes. They all eat at 10:30 at night.
Cool.
That's Barb over there. Barb, you look red as a beet. Now, Barb, I want you to chime in here. Maybe you can help us go in an interesting direction. So, there you are. Do you have any ideas for what Lainey might enjoy doing or talking about?
Yeah, I think that was a good story. You just have to keep as high as you can, keep the cancer out of your body. Keep an environment that isn't a good host for cancer. Maintain a harmonic body. You know, what these tests show is that you have some kind of a malformed cell. I guess something showed up.
An abnormal cell, right?
An abnormal cell. So use IMMUNICS to make all your cells normal to eliminate the abnormal cells.
Yeah, you had a medical test and they found an abnormal cell, right?
Yeah, is that right?
Yes, yes.
So
That's basically
what we're doing here is changing your cells to be normal.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
and
idea.
You're using your gravitational body and not these other bodies so that you don't go do and be however you were that would cause any abnormality to be created again. So you can do this. So maybe it's a gift.
What is the kind of cell that it was? Do you know the name of it?
No, I wasn't told what cell it was. It was just they couldn't identify what happened to the cell. They just.
I see. And what is the name of the type of cancer that you might have?
Cervical cancer.
Cervical, that's the kind. And so they're doing more tests. So hold up your hand and let's test a couple of more questions. See, we can go a little like more exactly. And Barb, you should go back on mute if we're going to do this because you have a little vibration, Barb, from time to time in your mic.
Yeah.
I want you to test, do I have cervical cancer in any of my body? See, we're making it more specific.
Do I have cervical cancer in any of my body? No answer.
Okay, so now you have nothing. Now, test this question. Do I have cervical cancer in my spiral body?
Do I have cervical cancer in my spiral body? No.
Okay, I want you to... Okay, so you're getting nothing on any of these. This is very good, because it's what happens. See, when people find something and they cure it, a lot of other things get cured. Maybe you had cancer in some of your other bodies, but now it's gone. You know, because you took it out of one body, you felt different, and then, you know, it's gone out of the other ones. Get the idea?
Yeah. This, talking about curing, I have this question from last Monday's meeting about we cure something today, and it's going to come back tomorrow, and we're going to keep curing again. So why we call it cure?
Actually, I don't think anything we cure ever comes back. But why don't we test this question? Does my gravitational body go get cancer? Does it actually go after it and find it and get it sometimes?
Does my gravitational body go get cancer? Yes.
That's what bodies do, Lainey. They, like, especially your gravitational body, goes out and finds DNA codes and brings them in and installs them in you. That's what it's supposed to be doing. That's how we evolve.
But how about virus and flu or all that stuff that you are cured and small, you're still having the virus until...
Some of the things that your gravitational body gets are not desirable. And it doesn't know that. For whatever reason, it's dysfunctional and it doesn't know not to get flu. So when you take flu out of it, you're actually training it not to get it anymore. But you may have to take it out hundreds of times over years before... See, I haven't had a flu even try to come on since 1993. My bodies do not get flu. I'm around people who have flu. Nothing ever infects me. I don't get viruses, but at the same time, well, I can say that, but I just came down with a shingles outbreak. Shingles is chicken pox. And I've never in my life... I had a shingles outbreak when I was in the Keys before I discovered this. And I assumed that it was gone when I cured my herpes. I cured 2 kinds of herpes years ago. And I hadn't had a shingles outbreak till a few weeks ago. And then we went on the web and we looked it up. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was herpes, but I looked it up and I found out that it was chicken pox. And I had chicken pox when I was a kid. So I killed it. And I've been seeing this commercial on TV about it, too. That tells, like, it says if you have ever had chicken pox, you may already have the shingles virus in your body. And then, I mean, basically it never goes away. Like Barb had got mononucleosis when she was a kid, which is the Epstein-Barr virus, and she had it for the rest of her life till she cured it. She got a negative medical test on it in 2006. So that was like, 30 years later.
So you cure this one day, and tomorrow you're going to do it again until it doesn't come back.
Whenever you find it, but see, you have to remember, it isn't coming back. You're getting it.
Oh.
Like, it really doesn't do anything. These diseases are actually passive. It's you're infecting yourself.
How do I infect myself when I don't have contact?
Okay, let's do something else. I'll show you. Good question. See, this is why I wanted to do this movie, because I wanted you to ask these questions and then we can demonstrate the answers instead of trying to tell you. Do this right now. Just say, I'm now connecting my gravitational body with my father's gravitational body, and see when you get a signal. So what you're doing is you're connecting your gravitational body with your dad's gravitational body.
Okay. I'm now connecting my gravitational body to my father's gravitational body.
And when you get a signal, you have connected them.
Yes.
Okay, that's how you have contact. Your gravitational body is having contact with your father's gravitational body right now. And that's what the gravitational body does. The gravitational body continuously connects with other gravitational bodies. Not just people, but animals, plants, anything that has a gravitational body. And you had a gravitational body when you were a subatomic particle. So there's a lot of gravitational bodies.
Okay.
Right, Barb? Barb's nodding. We have her. She's on mute. Probably we.
Energy web, right?
What'd you say? What'd you say?
It's like energy web. It's like connecting.
Yeah, it could be. You could look at it like that. Can you feel your gravitational body connecting with your father's?
Is this a question?
Yes. Right now, can you feel it connecting?
Can I feel my gravitational body connected to my father? Yes.
Now, how does that feel to you? Is there anything there that you can say, oh, is that it? And then you go and you can get a test if it is or isn't. Like, is there anything that you're feeling that might be that connection being made? Because you just got told that you can feel it.
Yeah, it just calm. There's nothing much going on.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll connect my gravitational body with yours. Okay, here I go. Now, can you feel that? Because if you can feel that, that's your gravitational body.
I can feel I'm nervous. I don't know why.
You're nervous? Well, do you feel anything like that's, I mean, we're not talking about a physical feeling here, okay?
Okay.
We're talking about something that's not happening. It's not even happening in your physical body, where I'm feeling that my body found your gravitational body is like way away from both of our physical bodies.
My finger is twitching.
Okay, but that may just mean that they're connected. Do you feel anything out there in space, in outer space, happening that feels like maybe our bodies connecting?
I feel warm, like some kind of
Where in your body?
heart.
Yeah, you see, okay, the gravitational body is reciprocal with the heart.
You see my fingers?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Whenever you're accessing your gravitational body, you'll feel that kind of feeling in your heart, like you call it warmth, and I call it expansion.
Yeah, extension.
Yeah, but the gravitational body isn't in your heart; it's out in the, way out there.
Okay.
So.
So we can really tell that.
Yeah, and also here test. I want you to test your dimension. This will be easier. Do this. Test, am I third dimensional?
Am I third dimensional?
Okay, how about now count up, fourth.
Am I fourth dimensional?
It's fourth, not four.
Fourth dimensional. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, am I fourth dimensional?
Do you get yes?
Yes.
Barb?
It in some way it's connected. We just don't really physically feel fourth dimension.
Test this, am I fifth dimensional?
Am I fifth dimensional? Yes.
Am I sixth dimensional?
Am I sixth dimension? Yes.
Okay, am I seventh dimensional?
Am I seventh?
Okay, so you're six-dimensional. You're, what test was I born on the sixth dimension?
Was I born on sixth dimension? Yes.
Have I been on the sixth dimension for over 1,000 years?
Have I been on sixth dimension for over 1,000 years? Yes.
Okay, so that's what I got about you too. I was on the sixth dimension for 4,500 years.
What dimension are you in now?
Me, I'm 144th dimensional.
Wow.
But generally, I hang out on other dimensions than 144th because I'm also dysfunctional. So, but I was.
How many dimensions are there?
Actually, I've been on the sixth dimension for 9,000 years. There are 144 dimensions plus 4 pre-dimensions.
Oh, okay.
And I've been on the sixth dimension for 9,000 years, and before that I was in negative beingness. So I didn't have a, a clear-cut dimension.
Did you test where you're from?
What?
Did you test where you're from?
I am from, well, I was one of the original colonists of this planet around 200,000 years ago.
Interesting.
But I've been back and forth, so but I've been here for this entire cycle of time, 13,000 years. I've been here for the last 13,000 years, more or less, on Earth. But I've only been, like, I only made my contract with Franny 4,500 years ago, and that's really where my work began. Like, before that, I was a pretty inconsequential, being.
What do you mean where your work began? What work are you talking about?
My work, doing this, like what you see me doing here, sort of like. I've done various forms of this stuff, but it looks like healing, but actually we create and protect scriptures, religious texts.
It's funny, I did ask about my last life.
You what?
Yeah, I asked if I can ask my past life, and they were saying yes.
Yeah, there's a do the application of skill 1. Start with, it's called Remove Trauma, This and Other Lives.
Skill 1.
Skill 1, Remove Trauma, This and Other Lives.
Wow. Is this not in the password, right? It's in the packet.
It's in the password. It's you have everything. If you got a password, you have access to everything on the website.
Oh, okay.
So if you have any problems, call Franny, 201, or rather 210-5656, area code 813. And you could just ask if you have trouble finding anything.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So now, you've studied some healing disciplines and so on. Well, one of them is Qigong. Would you tell us a little about Qigong?
No, I never studied Qigong in depth. Really, never. I mean, I probably do yoga more than Qigong.
Oh, your father's a Qigong master.
Yeah, we don't. He's all the way in Taiwan, and I'm all the way here in New York. But he does see me some information on how he feels, and I've seen him recover something. The doctor, it's basically the immune system dysfunction, but the doctor cannot help him by giving him pain relief medications, or let's just test of this, test of that. So eventually he gave up. He gave up the actual doctor chemical medications. He just does Qigong.
And that works.
And that works, yeah. And it's like it's all dimensions of the curing as well. It's not just Qi. It's about mind, body, everything. altogether, and
Well,
about giving too. So he's now a teacher. That's all he's dedicated to.
oh, he teaches Qigong.
Yeah.
Where?
In Taiwan, there's this name of the Qigong. They're trying to spread it worldwide.
Huh?
And I've heard soon they're gonna have a branch in the state. Soon.
Good.
It started from China.
Test this question, okay? Can you, before we test it, what is it, just your hit, what's the difference between IMMUNICS and Qigong, if any?
Me testing this question?
No, just tell us, like, just say, just what would you say are any differences between Qigong and IMMUNICS?
I don't think there's any big differences.
Okay, so test this. Is Qigong IMMUNICS? And
Is Qigong IMMUNICS? Very light signal.
How about is IMMUNICS Qigong?
Is IMMUNICS Qigong? No.
Okay, so Qigong is a light signal on its IMMUNICS, and no signal on is IMMUNICS Qigong. What I think is that when people do things like Qigong to cure something, they're simply triggering an immunic response.
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember before when you removed that from that body, you removed the cancer, and then you'd had nothing in any of your bodies? Well, something happened there that you didn't consciously do.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when people do things like yoga, Qigong. A lot of people do something like yoga, and they'll say, oh, I just did yoga and I cured my emphysema or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they're triggering a curative response that takes out things that they're not aware of.
But I do know Qigong is a lot of effort.
Yeah.
It's a lot of effort.
Well, Qigong is something that I have always liked and always wanted to do, and do some of, a little bit of every day, and I do yoga every day. There are these things like that I do because they are effort, and I need that. I need to make an effort, you know, and I need to, you know, work my body and feel my body and keep my, and it really, I'll tell you what, just as an economy of scale, you know, like, I want you to do something right now. I just want to show you something. You can do a chiropractic adjustment on yourself. So do this.
Really?
Yeah, do this.
My elbow is like really messed up.
Okay.
It went straight in and then screwed up when I was little.
All right, I want you to hold up, and Barb, hold up your finger too. I'm gonna video both of you, and I want you to tell me where you get a signal, and start with the top vertebrae right under your skull, and slowly work down and see where you get a signal that there's something out, and then we're going to strengthen it. So you want to find what's out first. Very slowly go down your vertebrae. And Barb, are you finding anything? Not yet, right? I don't see anything going on there. And Lainey, you finding anything? I don't see anything there either. Slowly descend down underneath go under your neck, your upper back, and down your back. And I'm doing the same thing and seeing if there's if I get a signal movement. You got something, Lainey, didn't you? Right there?
Yeah. My neck.
It's in your neck. Okay, so what you're going to do now is just adjust it. Just say, I'm now bringing that vertebrae into perfect alignment, and also put your attention on the vertebrae, and you can actually feel it. I did this with Franny the other day, and she got this enormous crack in her back, which was not exactly where I was like doing it, so I figured it worked, you know, because it, like, you adjust one place and it fixes it somewhere else. Okay, so just I'm bringing this into perfect alignment, And when your finger moves, you've done that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you continue down and test see if you find another one. And what I've noticed is sometimes I'll find the one right below it and the right below that and so on. And there'll be this little group of them. And just keep going down and see where you find one. I fixed my neighbor's back the other day. He was going to help me with the trees, and he said, I can't help you with the trees because my back's out. And I fixed his back, and then I found these guys to do the trees really for a great price, and I never did the trees. I got them done without working at all. It's the law of attraction. You know, you do this, and the law of attraction sets in. Like helping him was functional. I was being functional when I helped him. Okay, did you find any more, Lainey?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, are you adjusting them now? Now just bring them into perfect adjustment.
Yeah, I can feel it too as I'm feeling it.
Okay.
I like to close my eyes. I just feel I'm like concentrating on my...
Right. So what I wanted to tell you is that you can do this for somebody else who's on the other side of the world, and it will work just as well as doing it for yourself.
Oh, now today I read about your letter about helping others who doesn't want to help themselves.
Right.
Or am I just sending all this good message to a person who felt they're just, helpless?
You can, or you can help somebody you want to help, or sometimes you help somebody who is helping themselves to just get over a rough spot.
Yeah.
Or like, when somebody can't test, like sometimes people say they can't get a signal, and I just grab their etheric body and hold it, and they get a signal. They never know I did anything for them. Which I didn't. They actually get the signal themselves. I'm not making their finger move. All I do is hold their etheric body. But somehow it unswitches them so they can function and they get a signal. Like, test this. Hold your finger up. When we linked our gravitational bodies before, did we cure anything together? Did some things get cured? Get anything?
Move a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't thinking about curing anything, were we?
No.
We were just trying to link, but something got cured. See, it all happens. Like, we don't have to worry about it. It all happens.
Okay. I just see 111.
You what?
I just see 111. The repetitive numbers that tell you. Sometimes randomly, you can possibly randomly see repetitive numbers, and then those numbers trying to tell you something.
Right.
111 signifies energy flow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I recently see a lot of 333 and 444. Crazy. All the time. 111, 333, and 444. And 444 means there's something you're supposed to learn around you right now.
Uh-huh.
And you don't get to finish it. It's called Mystery of School. And you don't get to finish it until you see 666 to tell you finished.
That's good.
Last night, for 2 months, I only saw it.
That's great.
Saw it.
Look at Barb's driver's license. Wait a minute. Look at the numbers on her driver's license. Barb, we can't read it still.
You cannot read it. Still can't.
It's too close. It gets blurry, Barb. It won't focus.
It won't focus.
Go off mute and read it to us.
It's 666666.
It means you're finished learning, Barb.
Yeah, for something. Yeah,
You're
666.
You're done learning. That's what it means, and you are too.
Right?
No more learning for you. It's time to apply now.
Uh-oh.
Well, there's always something come up. It was just kind of like a signal telling you something is up.
Oh, I know. I see those triples too. That's good though.
You give me that goosebumps that you're trying to show me your 666. Did I felt yet? You felt?
Yeah. Double triples.
It's good, Barb. It's very good. I would expect no less from your driver's license.
So 666 your driver license number?
Well,
yeah, my checking account is 444, savings account 444.
Wow.
That means you still have a lot to learn on your...
About money.
Yeah, you got a lot to learn there, Barb.
About money, yeah.
But about driving and about going forward and about travel and 6666666. How many sixes is it?
Travalo, apathetic. That's what he wrote about. He has amazing experience with universal energy.
Yeah, that's what I learned about it too. I see him all the time.
Oh yeah.
Triples, yeah. Triples.
Yes.
Especially, yeah. All right, well, you just saw your sixes then, so that's good. You saw them.
I don't know what I learned.
Good. It's good stuff, you know.
Doesn't matter.
Medicine. Good medicine.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a vibration.
Good vibration.
Uh-huh.
This is actually the best talk since I've spoke to you guys for, this is the third time. Yeah.
Well, because there's less of us on.
Yeah.
You know, 3 people is kind of a magic number. You know, when you get 3 people together, you really can get into stuff.
True.
Now, Lanny, have you studied any other healing things? What about yoga? Do you do a lot of yoga?
Yeah, I love yoga. I never can sweat myself. Like I ran 5-6 miles. I never see any drip of sweat or nothing until I seriously started doing yoga. And I cried the first day when I sweat like crazy, like a faucet.
That's great.
It was like the biggest breakthrough, and my body was thrilling, and it was an amazing feeling.
What kind of yoga do you do?
I do hot yoga because it helped me to sweat, and I feel I'm like detoxing the whole time doing it.
Hatha yoga, you say?
Hot, and so it's traditional vinyasa yoga, but we're doing it in the 110-degree temperature room. Sometimes I do Bikram yoga.
Yeah, Bikram yoga. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Hot yoga.
Hot yoga, Bikram yoga. I mean, actually, there are 2 different styles. Bikram is a little more rigorous. It's longer hours. Huh?
I was going to say, if you didn't sweat with hot yoga, you must be pretty good shape.
Oh.
I'm glad you sweated with hot yoga. That's normal. That's natural.
First.
I had never heard anybody not sweat with Bikram yoga. That's what it's all about.
It took me a while to start sweating with those classes. That's how much I don't want to sweat.
Well, what's the difference between yoga, and IMMUNICS? Like, what's the difference in the motivation for doing them? Let's put it that way. Like, why would you do yoga? Why would you do IMMUNICS? What's the difference in the motivation? The reason you would do them?
I feel like yoga is more feeling body conditions as you're doing through those movements.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling is self-inquiry. That you're asking yourself what's going on. But yoga is not asking myself what's going on. It's more about being the condition and accepting what is going on. That's how I feel. I mean, at least this is when I do this yoga practice, is accepting what is going on. Feeling this pain, what I'm going through, and still smiling.
Barb, go on mute when you move your computer. Go on mute, okay?
It's like so obvious.
Just go on mute.
Yep.
Where's Barb located at? It looks like it's still daylight over there.
Do you notice Barb has Cure on her jacket?
I do notice that.
Show us your jacket, Barb.
Sure.
She's got Cure on her jacket.
So we haven't heard about Barb's sharing about the differences between yoga and IMMUNIC.
What's that? Oh. Okay. It's better that you share.
Uh-oh, Barb froze.
Uh,
I guess I'll go back to you.
how do you feel, Barb? Bad.
What do I feel? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, but you got to turn your camera back on.
Oh. I thought your description was pretty accurate about the difference between yoga, especially.
Well, what you were saying about
it.
Go ahead, Barb.
Like the self-inquiry and those kind of questions that are like the trademark of IMMUNICS. And with yoga, you're kind of using more of an experiential, the feeling, and a way to run energy through yourself. I think it's good to do both. And Qigong, I've done some Qigong also, similar. But I think yoga, the IMMUNICS is a little more precise and more includes other people and God, like, interacting with other beings and God. That's what I like about it. It's more about the harmonics between all beings. Whereas some other disciplines are just about the person feeling okay by themselves.
Lenny, did you ever see on the Hub, there's a movie called IMMUNIC Dancing?
No, I'm gonna write it down.
Well, it's, Barb, go on mute. Barb, go on mute. Thanks. If you're going to bang your camera, your camera around, you should be on mute. Okay, IMMUNIC Dancing, I'll tell you a story about IMMUNIC Dancing. I was on the beach in Malibu. I used to take these long walks on the beach in Malibu. I used to live in Paradise Cove. And I stopped to watch some surfers, and I was doing IMMUNIC Dancing, and this woman came over who was a Qigong master and started showing me Qigong. And the thing I took away from it, I'll never forget, she said, root yourself to the center of the earth. And I realized that, you can do that. Like, you can just put down, connect your etheric field down into the earth's core, literally rooting yourself into the earth.
Do you think that person who are able to be calm and meditate often will attain this ability easier and faster?
I think that you're going at a pretty good clip, and that's probably because of your background, yeah. That, of course, the more dues people have paid, the better and easier this comes, and the easier it is for them. Yes, absolutely, that's true. And at the same time, I mean, a guy started, he wanted to cure his herpes. He had no money, but he found what I said inspiring, so I gave him a password without a donation, because I couldn't, flattery will get you everywhere, And anyway, he just turned out to be a hellfire with this. I mean, he had no previous experience, and they had written him off in school as a person who was stupid or just retarded or something. And he worked at a pizza parlor, and later I found out he practically ran the pizza parlor. He made the dough and made the pizzas, and he did everything in the place. And as fast as grease lightning, he was just a very competent person who got severely misjudged, and he was fantastic at IMMUNICS and cured his herpes, and just recently re-signed up for the web college. He likes donating now. He sort of started without donating, and now he's proud of himself because he got himself on his feet. He moved, and he got a better job. He passed his ambulance driver's test. And you know what he told me? He tested his way through the test. He actually he got signals on the answers.
Okay. That's really cool. So all this testing is like current conditions, current going on conditions.
Well, no,
you haven't tested anything for the future. And understanding everything is ever changing.
I think that testing the future closes the future.
Okay.
If you've got a, in other words, to get an accurate test about the future would mean that what you've tested is going to happen would happen, and that means the future would not be flexible anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Everything's ever changing. When we test to get it, that's what I'm thinking right now. And maybe at some point I read about something about this in some other places. This suggesting the answer we're getting is at this moment with that moment's time, human beings, conditions around you. That's the answer you get for that future. But now the next week could be different, or next hour could be different because everything is changing.
Right.
So it's not that we were wrong with the answer we got a week later, and it's just the conditions different. Therefore, I'm changing.
I was also going to say that, have you ever heard of Carolyn Mace? She's she specializes in things like chakras and more. But she, in one of her books, she said that people, even when they get a positive cancer diagnosis, that basically from any point to the next, a snapshot of your system or a test could be different from one moment to the next also. That a lot of people have cancer cells in their body at any point in time. It just happens to be when you get that test.
Right.
So you're always changing, and so you're always moving. It's a matter of moving it through yourself.
You know, I have my own perspective on this. I'll tell you what I think.
Okay.
I think that the space-time continuum is like silly putty, and that God has a plan. And you know, Meher Baba said that everything was decided in the original whim when God created the universe.
This is a good one.
So everything, you know, everything is like preordained, except that it's always flexible too, but somehow it usually turns out the way God intended it to. And you sort of like, if you've ever noticed, Lainey, like when something comes to pass, you kind of feel as though, okay, that was always going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, and yet you have freedom and choice, and there is real flexibility in space-time.
Yeah.
Like space-time is flexible.
Right.
So that's what I think. You know, that it's a paradox. I don't think that what happens in the future really matters. What matters is what we choose. And we have, it seems to me like we're always free to make choices, and those choices do control what we get. Like what comes to us.
Okay.
And also, I'll tell you a story. Want to hear a story?
Yeah.
A little story, okay? This was told by Jane Haynes, who was, I believe she was actually on this trip. But Meher Baba predicted, he said, you know, before he ever came to America, that he would spill his blood in 2 places in America. And one of them was, they were driving across the United States in a motorcade. And they had stopped, you know, like somewhere, like in the Midwest. And he had this group of people with him. They were in like 3 cars. And so he was talking to the people, and he said to them, like, you can all have whatever you want. This is a moment where you can ask me, like, for my grace. Like, whatever you want, I'll give you. And one of the guys said, well, Baba, he said, when I die, I want to be near you. He said, and I also want my death to be quick. So anyway, and everybody else asked for, a new mink coat or whatever. So anyway, they got in the cars and they were driving and they had this accident. The car went off the road. Baba's hip was crushed. And this guy who was sitting next to Baba was killed instantly.
Jeez. That's crazy.
So there it is. That's an example of, both a preordained future, and at the same time, he obviously chose, like he asked for and got what he wanted. So anyway, to finish the story, they rushed Baba to, they were out in the middle of nowhere in the Midwest. They rushed Baba to this hospital, and the doctor who went to work on him was an Indian doctor in Iowa, doing his residency somewhere. His name was Dr. Gindey. And I also saw Dr. Gindey lecture in New York. That Jane Haynes told me the story I just told you, but Gindey told about Baba. He said he was brought into this, Baba came to the emergency room, and he was brought in, and Baba was laying on the table, and the first thing Baba did was give him a big smile. And then, he was talking through his interpreter, and because Baba didn't speak actually, he used hand gestures to speak, and he said, everything's okay, don't worry, what you do is going to be successful, and you're going to do a great job, so relax and just do your best. And so Gindey started fixing his hip, which was crushed, and he thought but this guy's never going to walk again. And Baba made a point of walking. And, within a few months, he was walking again. And part of that was just to show Dr. Gindey that he had done a good job. So that's my little story about choice and the future and predicting the future and preordained realities and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it seems like we're at a good maybe stopping point or close to it. Do you have anything you want to close with?
Just thank you, and great conversation.
Thank you. It really has been, truly.
I do have a question. Like, can you grow your hair? But I'm sure I'm gonna test it out myself. And I think I've fed myself enough knowledge info from you guys. This is my time to go home and do my homework.
You're amazing.
Yeah, it is time to do your homework, though. You're right about that.
I might see 444 again tomorrow morning.
Yeah, uh-huh.
No, I only see the first 666, I guess, ever since I read the book. Isn't that crazy?
It's funny because people think 666 is the mark of the devil.
No. I mean, you think that.
That's what Christians say about it. But you're right, it's actually just a signal, it's another signal.
Yeah.
666.
This is good, this has been really good. And thank you, Barb, for joining us. I appreciate you for popping in
Sorry about
here.
the mix-ups. I had my setting wrong. But yeah, it's really nice meeting you. You're a pretty amazing person, Lane.
Oh, you're an amazing person. You too.
I don't know. Listen, thank you for pardon?
I said Bar I never can pronounce him. You guys can pronounce, what was it? Bear?
I'm Byard. Byard.
Then he's on the 144th.
Oh, for definitely. I'm glad. Thank you for including me so I could learn with you. I learned a lot today too. Tonight.
I would say Barb is on the 144th dimension. That's her problem.
Getting used to it. I'm getting used to it.
Well,
I hope I meet you one day. Really, you're wonderful. You're an amazing person. Thanks, Fire, for including me.
Lainey, test your dimension every so often, because your dimension will rise as you do this.
Oh, okay. But what does dimension mean? Like, what does this dimension mean?
Well, I'll tell you what. That'll be for another movie.
Yeah, let's make another one.
We'll make another one. We'll wait a little while and make another one, and we can do that. That's
I want to come to that one too.
okay. We'll put that on the burner because you know what? I could demonstrate how you change when you go from dimension to dimension. But do some more IMMUNICS, and then your dimension, you'll have access to some more higher dimensions, and then we can, you know, test each one of them and find out what it's like. And then you'll know what the dimensions are.
All right.
Well, this is good, guys. Thank you so much, and I'm off. I'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Nice meeting you. Thanks.
Nice meeting you.